When I started in January 1978, it was nothing like Rugby League is today. There was only myself and the groundsman in the whole of the place. The chairman used to come along, give me letters to do, anything he needed me to do during the day. He used to man the phones, do the paperwork, do the books, do the wages, things like that. Compared to now, it was completely different. Players were paid the same, winning and losing. I think captain got an extra £1. And it was just so different to what it is now. So different. To think that you're just in the ground with just the groundsman most of the time. At the beginning, I didn't really notice any difference because it was just like an administration job that I did. And when I went at night to pay the players the wages, which was one of my nighttime duties that I'd had to do, it didn't worry me at all. They were very respectful and everything. I think the changes tended to come more maybe when I took on the role of the full-time, when the company secretary passed away in 1982, and I took the role on. That was when it became different because a lot of club secretaries at that point were men. I think there was only one other lady, and that was the lady at Wigan. So mainly it became a problem sometimes when I went to away grounds with the directors. Sometimes I wouldn't be allowed in the boardroom where directors were. Obviously, male company secretaries, club secretaries were allowed in. So sometimes I wasn't allowed in. Sometimes I just thought, well, as long as I'm allowed into some room after the match, then I'd stand there with my blazer on and make my point that I'm here, even though I'm not allowed in the boardroom. Denise Tiffany, who had the secretary's role, died quite suddenly. So I took on the role on the request of the directors just temporarily to see if I could just do it until they found someone else, a male presumably. So I was quite happy to do that. And then when I proved I could do it, then that's when they gave me the role. I did realise that there would be obviously problems being a female, but I just thought I'd just get to grips with it. And it didn't really cause me major problems. The 1980s were my favourite. I'd been there like 4 years when the 80s came along. Well, 2 years originally. But when I took the role on of company secretary, I'd been there 4 years. I did like it. I really loved it. It was so involved. I did so much work involved with everyone, police, ambulances, organisation. Virtually everything to do with match days evolved around myself, except the playing. Obviously, that was the playing side. But the organisation of a match day was round to me doing it all. And I did enjoy it. I really, really did. It was super. Oh, Wembley's unique. When we got to Wembley and we won the semi-final, and it was just like I was on cloud nine. I was given this great big box of tickets that I thought, wow, amazing. I took them onto my dining room table so I could check everyone, make sure there were none missing, because I was responsible. So if you want ticket wrong, your money's going to be wrong. So I sat for hours checking them all off, and my son David made me this great big plan of the stadium and colour-coded it and everything so that the tickets were on it, so it was so much easier to show people when they came in to buy them. That was a big help. It was a massive, massive job. Then, of course, we had to organise hotels, coaches. It was a big job, but on the day, it was something else. It was something really, really special. I went down on the Friday with the directors and the directors' wives and players' wives. Team went on the Thursday with the chairman and coach. And we was allowed to go onto the Wembley turf, providing the ladies took the shoes off because of the heels. So we had to kick our shoes off and walk onto the pitch in bare feet. It didn't matter. We didn't matter. As long as we got on there, that was all that mattered. And then, of course, the next day was the big match day, and we won. So it was absolutely amazing. Nobody could ever take a memory like that away from you. My family was around me, my husband was there, my mum and dad was there. It was just such a family special day that'll live such a long time in my memory. It'll never ever fade, never will. And to think I've got a Wembley medal as well, because they were allowed to buy me a Wembley medal. That's also a treasure that I really do love, it really is. And they had a buffet afterwards back at the hotel with all the players, and the cup was there obviously, and that was special as well. Then we came back on the Sunday, and we did the open top bus tour, and then we had a official ceremony put on by the local authority.
You must have been absolutely buzzing.
Buzzing. And when the next day came along, I was shattered. I was on cloud nine. To go on the top of the open-top bus. One little funny story was we'd planned the route for the open-top bus way back with the police. And I don't know why, but coming back, I'd suddenly realised that it was initially going to go down Weldon Road and go past the ground. And then just suddenly I had this horrible thought, there's this low bridge. So I had to contact the police, and we had to redo the route at last minute so that it went part way down, then turned around, then came back, and then, did another route to get down to the Civic Centre, because obviously it couldn't get under the bridge. So the open-top bus was amazing. I had this little flat cap on. I think I looked a bit of an idiot probably, but I didn't care. And it was lovely. The number of people that turned out on the day, it was absolutely fabulous. When we got to Civic Centre, it was just a sea of black and orange. It was absolutely fabulous. Really, really was. At the RFL, we used to have to prepare papers to send out to the children's parents to get them filled in, to come back, to give them permission to go onto the camps. And once you get the teams selected, because they were selected from around the area, the lads who were coming into camps, you had to get the paperwork out pretty quickly, which sometimes meant staying late, pizzas coming in. I remember doing it once with Julia, but we always used to get there in the end. And the sort of the pinnacle of it was when we went out on the camps and saw the children enjoying the rugby and getting selected, because it then went, to a more higher up camp, and the lads were just enjoying it so much. It was wonderful to see it come to fruition. Castleford's always been part of my life, from being a young child until I retired from the RFL in 2009. It always will be part of my life. I'll always be a Cas fan. I'm an honorary life member, but don't go down a great deal, but always look for the results and always want them to win. My family, my two sons are still involved. They do love it. They're season ticket holders and went to Catalan. And it will always be in me. I was born in Cas, and it'll always be there, won't it? So.